What if I told you success doesn't even know your name until you bleed for it? You think success is going to stop and ask you how your day was? You believe it's going to pause and check if you're tired, unmotivated, or in the mood to work? No, success doesn't care. It doesn't slow down for your feelings. It doesn't show up with sympathy. While you're making excuses, someone else is executing. While you're waiting to feel ready, someone is already taking your... Success is ruthless, not in cruelty, but in consistency. It respects hustle, not hesitation. Emotion is human. Discipline is divine. You can cry, scream, doubt, feel like quitting, but if you stop moving, the world keeps turning without you. You've got to make a decision. Do you want to be comforted or do you want to be crowned? Because you can't have both. Life will beat on you. It'll test you. There will be days when you don't feel like it, days you feel broken, betrayed, misunderstood, but you show up anyway. Not because it's easy, but because quitting isn't part of your vocabulary. Pain is not a permission slip to pause your purpose. Champions don't ask for better conditions, they perform regardless. So before we go any further, let me tell you straight. This isn't for the weak-hearted, the excuse makers, or the maybe tomorrow tribe. This message is for the ones who are ready to get up, even when they don't feel like it. The ones who know that greatness doesn't wait for a mood swing to pass. Success doesn't stop to ask how you're feeling. It doesn't hold your hand and whisper, "Are you okay today?" It's not going to tuck you in when you're tired or hold the door open when life's been unfair. Success is not your mother. It's not your therapist. It's not your friend. It's a mirror. And that mirror reflects one thing and one thing only: results. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you don't show up and execute, nobody remembers your feelings. They remember your record. You think that because you're passionate, you deserve the prize. But passion without performance is just noise. You think because you've been through pain, you should be handed a breakthrough. But pain without progress is just suffering. There are people out there grinding with broken hearts, tired bodies, and heavy minds, and they're still getting it done. Why? Because they understand something most don't. You don't get credit for showing up emotionally. You get credit for showing up effectively. You want to win? Then stop checking your emotional weather forecast every morning. Stop asking yourself, do I feel like it today? Start asking, what needs to be done no matter how I feel? Because consistency is not a mood, it's a decision. Champions don't measure their day by how they feel. They measure it by what they produce. They know success is blind to struggle, deaf to excuses, and loyal only to results. People will remember the impact you made, not the excuses you made. Your feelings are valid, but they are not an excuse to abandon the mission. Yes, you're human. Yes, you'll have off days. But let those days be the ones where you still showed up, tired, bruised, maybe even broken, but present. Because in the courtroom of greatness, the judge doesn't ask how you felt about the assignment. The only question is, did you deliver? And if you want success to recognize your name, then make sure your track record speaks louder than your complaints. You are allowed to feel. You're allowed to be angry, sad, anxious, even scared. That's human. But here's what you're not allowed to do. Let those feelings decide the outcome of your life. You see, feelings are like weather. Some days it rains, some days the sun shines. But if you only moved when the skies were clear, you'd never get anywhere. Life doesn't wait for your emotional climate to settle, and neither does success. Your emotions can inform you, but they should never control you, because if they control you, you become a slave to your temporary state. And temporary emotions make terrible permanent decisions. You don't build a legacy on how you felt. You build it on what you did, in spite of how you felt. The difference between a champion and the rest isn't that they feel better every day, is that they act better anyway. The problem is most people think if they don't feel motivated, they're not supposed to move. That's a trap. Waiting to feel ready is a delay tactic your mind uses to keep you safe, not successful, because your brain doesn't care about success. It cares about comfort. It wants to protect you from pain, from risk, from failure. But what it doesn't understand is this: growth lives on the other side of emotional resistance. You don't get better by staying in the mood. You get better by getting out of your way. It's not about denying your emotions. It's about refusing to let them drive the car. They can sit in the back seat, but they don't get to touch the wheel. You lead with vision, not emotion. You lead with principles, not moods. Because emotions are fleeting, but your purpose is permanent. So the next time your feelings rise up and say, "Not today," you stand up taller and say, "I move anyway." Because when you learn to move while feeling everything, pain, fear, doubt, you become unstoppable. Not because you don't feel, but because you refuse to let feelings dictate your future. There will be days when your feelings scream louder than your goals. Days when every fiber in your body tells you to quit, to rest, to delay. And that's where most people fall, not because they're weak, but because they never built a bridge. That bridge is called discipline. It is the connector between what you feel and what you need to do. Without it, you're at the mercy of every emotional wave that hits you. Discipline is not a personality trait. It's not reserved for the gifted. It's a choice, one that must be made daily. While motivation knocks on your door when it pleases, discipline lives with you, gets up with you. It walks with you into every challenge and whispers, "We don't skip steps. We don't take shortcuts. We do what must be done." The people who rise to the top didn't get there because they were constantly inspired. They got there because they trained themselves to move regardless of mood. They built rituals, routines, habits, not based on how they felt, but on who they wanted to become. That's discipline. Showing up to the gym when your body aches. Studying when your mind wanders. Working when the world says rest. Not because it's easy, but because the mission matters more than the moment. And here's the secret they won't tell you. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from regret. It frees you from wasted time. It frees you from the life of almost. When you live by discipline, you don't wait for life to hand you results. You earn them, one uncomfortable decision at a time. So ask yourself, what's louder in your life, your emotions or your execution? Are you led by how you feel or by what you said you'd do? Because your future is being shaped by that answer every single day. The bridge to the life you want is already there, but you've got to walk it. Step by step, even when it's raining, even when it's lonely, even when you're tired. That's the price. That's the way. You think the enemy is failure. You think it's fear. You think it's rejection. No. The real enemy, the one that creeps in without warning and robs you quietly, is comfort. Comfort doesn't announce its presence. It doesn't yell or threaten. It just whispers you're good enough. It tells you to slow down when you should be speeding up. It says take a break when you should be doubling down. It promises you peace, but it costs you progress. Comfort is the slow death. It keeps your body warm while your dream goes cold. It convinces you that effort is optional, that greatness can be microwaved, that success is for people who have it easier. And if you listen long enough, you'll wake up a decade from now wondering where your fire went. But the truth is, it didn't disappear. You just traded it for convenience. You don't become who you were born to be in ease. You become that person in pressure. Diamonds aren't made in soft beds and quiet rooms. They're formed under fire, under force, under grind. And yet most people spend their entire lives trying to escape that very process. They chase comfort as if it's the prize, not realizing it's the trap. Because comfort makes you forget you were made for more. Potential has an expiration date. It doesn't stay loyal to the person who ignores it. And every time you choose what's easy over what's necessary, you trade a piece of your future for a moment of relief. But let me tell you, success doesn't live in your comfort zone. It lives just outside of it, where the air gets thin and the work gets hard. So if you want to reach your highest self, stop protecting your feelings and start confronting your comfort. Stretch until it hurts. Move until it breaks. Grow until it scares you. Because the real you, the strong you, the disciplined you, the unstoppable you doesn't exist inside the lines of safety. That version of you is waiting in the discomfort. And you'll never meet them if you keep choosing easy. Don't let the highlight reels fool you. Winners aren't made of stone. They feel the same fear, the same fatigue, the same doubt. They have days when they wake up and question everything. Days when they wonder if they're good enough, strong enough, smart enough. But here's the difference. They don't let how they feel dictate what they do. They move anyway. You think champions don't cry? They do. But they cry while pushing. You think they don't break? They break. Yeah, they break, but they break forward. They know that motion is not just a physical act. It's a declaration. Every time they move through pain, they send a message to life itself. I am not ruled by how I feel. I am ruled by who I choose to be. Because here's what the greats understand. Your emotions don't cancel your obligations. You still owe your dream a payment no matter your mood. You still owe the grind your presence no matter your pain. Winners aren't void of emotion. They're masters of it. They know how to channel the storm into fuel. They don't run from the discomfort. They respect it. They embrace it because they know that if you only move when it's easy, you'll never move far. We live in a world that glorifies ease and avoids struggle. But nothing worth having is birthed in convenience. Growth is not painless. Change is not smooth. Every level costs something: time, energy, belief, sacrifice. And the receipt is paid in action, not attitude. So yes, feel what you feel. That's human. But don't let it be a steering wheel. Let it be a reminder that even the best feel broken sometimes. But the only reason they're the best is because they showed up anyway. With tears in their eyes, with fire in their chest, with doubt on their back and greatness in their step. So ask yourself, are you waiting to feel like a winner? Or are you willing to act like one regardless? You could have the best reason in the world and still lose. That's the reality. You could be battling pain no one sees, working with half the resources, showing up against all odds, but at the end of the day, the world isn't keeping score of your excuses. It's counting your results. You see, results are universal. They speak every language. They don't need explanation. They don't care how hard the journey was, only if you arrived. And while that might sound harsh, it's also freeing, because it means you're not a victim of your feelings. You're a product of your actions. And actions leave a trail. They leave proof. They write legacy. When history looks back, it doesn't ask how many times you almost made it. It doesn't record how close you came or how tired you were. It doesn't log the days you wanted to give up. All it remembers is, did you finish the race? Did you make the impact? Did you build something that outlived your excuses? People will empathize with your pain, but they follow your performance. They'll nod when you share your struggles, but they'll rise when you show your strength. If you want to be remembered, not just liked, but respected, you must choose results over rationalizations. You must choose execution over emotion. You don't earn greatness by convincing people why it didn't happen. You earn it by making it happen, even when the odds aren't in your favor. Even when nobody's clapping for you. Even when it hurts. Because the truth is, nobody's coming to rescue you from the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That's yours to cross, step by step, decision by decision. Excuses are soft pillows. They make you feel better while your dreams rot. Results are bricks, heavy, earned, but lasting. Lay them daily, lay them relentlessly. Because when it's all said and done, you won't be asked how you felt. You'll be asked what you built. Motivation is a beautiful thing when it's there. When it shows up, it makes you feel like you can conquer anything. You're fired up, focused, untouchable. But what happens when it doesn't show up? What happens when you wake up empty, drained, uninspired? That's when most people fold. They built their hustle on hype. They depended on energy that wasn't promised. And when the fire faded, so did they. But the ones who make it to the top, they don't wait for the fire. They become the fire. They don't rely on motivation to move. They rely on mentality. Because they've trained their minds for movement. Their legs go whether their heart is in it or not. Their hands work whether the mood agrees or not. They've programmed their identity around the action, not the emotion. You wanted to know what separates the consistent from the convenient? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even skill. It's the ability to keep moving without needing to feel like it. The ones who win build systems. They build habits. They understand that momentum doesn't follow motivation. Motivation follows momentum. When you move first, the feeling catches up. But if you sit and wait to feel like moving, you'll be stuck in place, watching everyone else pass you by. Train your mind to operate on standards, not emotions. Standards don't shift with the weather. They don't crumble under pressure. They stand. And if your standard is movement, then every day becomes a victory, even the ugly ones. Even the days when the win is just showing up and doing the work. Let others wait to feel inspired. Let them binge videos and read quotes and wait for the spark. But not you. You're not built for waiting. You're built for working. You're built to move first, to move fast, to move forward, no matter the state of your emotions. So write this down and never forget it. Motion creates motivation, not the other way around. Get up, get moving, then watch the energy follow your step. Anybody can show up when they're inspired. Anybody can give 100% when the wind's at their back, the sun's out, and life feels good. But legacy? Legacy is written in the dark. It's built when nobody's clapping, when the room is empty, when you're tired, uninspired, and full of doubt, but you show up anyway. Because you know something most people don't? Those days count more. It's easy to grind when the mood is right. It's easy to push when your name is trending. But what about the days when it's just you, the silence, and the mission? That's when character is forged. That's when greatness is born, not in celebration, but in consistency. Not in front of fans, but in front of a mirror. When you look at the lives of legends, the ones who left a mark, who built something that outlived them, you'll find one common thread. They didn't just work when it was convenient. They worked when it was crucial. They understood that purpose